Welcome to silence, because Shane said absolutely nothing. I would have been your host today, Reploid Bill William Bush, but it has to be one of these two guys, because Bill hasn't played this game.
I apologize, I did not know that I was supposed to say something.
Yeah.
I'm Shane McCree, Proto Guy.
Scott Action Jackson.
And today we are keeping a promise that Bill has mentioned multiple times in our podcasts before, so I'm not going to say all that long-winded shit that he usually does.
To cut it short, Final Fantasy Legacy.
Yes, and we are, as of right now, we are skipping Final Fantasy XIII 3, that's what we're going to call Lightning's Return. Not enough people in the group have played it. I have, and I don't want to talk to myself.
And, well, with this next one, we're kind of skipping over it, but kind of not.
Well, I mean, we'll eventually go back to it, but as of right now, we're skipping it until more people, until we have more people in the group come over, and at least one other person has played it.
No, I mean 14.
Yes, I'm talking about yes. But now 14, we're talking about 14, and we're gonna start with the 14 that first released back in 2010, if I'm correct.
10?
Yeah, I'm usually correct. Final Fantasy XIV Online. I didn't play this because it wasn't out long enough for most people to get the chance to play it. But we did have a buddy that played it, and that's Greg, or Lowell GT, if that's what he's going by. I don't know. I'm not sure what his persona is. But,
Professor Zoom, Lowell GT, Greg.
okay.
I've heard like 3 or 4 different things
All
from
right.
him.
He got a chance to play it, and he told me about it. It was completely atrocious. The interface was bad. The battle system was awful. It was buggy. It was glitchy. It was like they'd released a game in its alpha form and thought that it was a finished product. So
It needed a reboot.
with that said,
What you got?
since I did not see it or play it, I only heard about it, and because of what happened to 14, they had to redo the game all over again. You're going to give a game like that a 0. And I mean, I don't have to play it or see it to know that it's a 0. It wasn't a finished game, so it don't get anything. It's a 0. But for those of you who got a chance to play the game, you might have a different opinion, or you might have the same opinion. Either way, it was a bad game, and just because I didn't play it doesn't mean I can't score to 0. So yeah, Scott.
Yeah, I never even heard of the original 14. I mean, I was used to knowing and seeing the 11 online, but 14 I never heard of, the original one.
Yeah.
I just more or less have to do 14, A Realm Reborn.
Yep. So, instead of doing that whole breaking down each category, like story, gameplay, and all that, we can't do that because none of us play this shitty game. So, we're just going to give it a 0, and we're going to move on to the game that we did play.
Now, technically, we could get Greg later on to talk about it.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I'm more than fine with that later on.
Yeah.
Coming back to it.
When Greg is ready to
Yeah.
help out again, we can get him on here in an episode. He can talk about it because he did get a chance to play it. But now the real reason why we're here is to talk about the game that came after this, and that is Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And this game was a trillion times better, but there's really, I mean, they could only go up from the last game they made.
From complete failure, you can only get better.
Yes. So, we'll talk about how it looks. And I'm playing it currently on the PS4.
It did come out for PC and, well, kind of originally PS3, and then they did a kind of a port over to PS4, which a lot of people did when the PS4 came out.
So I had it on the PS3, and then I ported it to the PS4 for free.
I did it too.
And now I'm playing on the PS4, and I think it looks really good.
It did look a lot better on PS4.
Obviously, it probably looks better on the PC, but
Yeah, people with their PC Master System. Yeah, how's that Batman game going for you?
That Batman's the best game they've ever played, if I'm not mistaken.
If they can get it.
If they can get it to play.
Yeah, no one playing when you guys did a better version of a game. But
look, how many thousands of times now
have
we had to deal with the master race crap where they're like, oh yeah, I'm sure your game looks really good, but if you would have got it on PC, blah 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 blah.
I think
well,
if you would have
you know what?
dick up your mouth in your mouth, blah, 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 whatever.
It's just my preference. I've always been a console guy. Has nothing to do with one way or another. It's just what I like. I like the convenience of the console, so that's where I play. But nowadays we're moving into an area where a lot of these PC games, they're on the consoles. So we're not really getting left out. Yeah, we might not get the best version, but we're not getting left out anymore.
But then again, with so many people doing the whole, oh yeah, PC's master race. Well, guess what? F you.
Yeah, for once.
We're sick of hearing this crap over.
For once, we are the master race. We're the only people playing Batman.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
Basically, his game is also all servers are connected. PC, PS3, and PS4 all play together as one.
But I think it is still divided by region and location, though, isn't it?
No clue. All I knew is I could play with Nick when he was on the PS3 and I was on the PS4.
And then I could also be with you and Nick on same server too.
Yeah. So the game looks fantastic. I mean, when you boot it up and everything, for those of you who've played Final Fantasy XI, it'll be a familiar game to you. It also will have its differences. But how do I put it? The look of it.
Probably the PS4 is going to be a little better looking.
Well, obviously, if you had a choice between the PS3 version and PS4, always go with the PS4. If you want the best version, obviously go for the PC, if you can run it. But
you can probably configure the controls better on the PC.
I walked around open areas. I've seen the waters. I've seen mountains. It all looks good. The lighting is good.
Even the dungeons look good.
Yeah. It was a very good.
They're not as dark and dank as you would expect a dungeon to be. So
it was very good. They did a good job with the graphics on the game. So that's like a thumbs up for me, man. Definitely a thumbs up. The game looks great. So the next thing we're going to move on to is gameplay. Now, this is an MMO. And with an MMO...
Wait, did you do the music?
I'm going to do that after gameplay.
Okay.
Because we're following your format build, we're just mixing it up a little bit. So, gameplay. Scott, I'm going to let you go. You're probably better at explaining this.
Gameplay.
It's an MMO. You have a bar at the bottom, like any MMO.
It is more difficult to figure out with just a controller than it is for the PC players.
If it was a mouse and keyboard, it would be easier. They did a decent job of mapping it out on a controller.
But it's not difficult to figure out, though.
No.
If you're able to get some help, which you can get a lot of help with this MMO.
Yep. Like I said, it plays like an MMO. Those of you who play World of Warcraft will understand. Those of you who play Final Fantasy XI will understand.
For me, it was a little bit better than World of Warcraft. Because I have played World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn and the new Elder Scrolls. And
those of you who play Final Fantasy XII and the fact that Vaughn could...
I heard it plays like 12, doesn't it?
At 12, that Vaughn could hit the attack button, but have to wait for his active time bar to go up, but he can run around. Well, in 14, you can do that. It just works. It's just done properly. Because in 12, they tried to make it like an MMO battle system, and it failed. This time, they got an MMO battle system right for an MMO.
I thought 12 failed overall anyway.
12 failed overall. But gameplay, it's an MMO. And from those of you who've ever played one, you'll understand what we're getting at. Now we'll move on to sound. Or how
the music.
And
it sounds like your typical Final Fantasy music.
yes.
The good Final Fantasy music, not
Once again, like, trying to think on the top of my head, there's nothing memorable.
except for maybe the opening.
The opening's very memorable.
You know,
Chocobos.
Yeah, the chocobo when you're
Get on the chocobos, it makes that.
And then there's also
That doesn't seem nearly as cool as what I heard about this morning.
and each region and
I
each
know.
area has different music that you can hear too.
Yep.
But the dungeons themselves.
There's
too.
only a few things that are coming to my mind that are sticking out. So, like, when you look at, like, your older Final Fantasies and you're thinking of the music, you can remember it. And as the later Final Fantasies came along, you're starting to slowly forget the music. It's something that I wasn't paying much attention to. I was just playing the game. So,
Yeah, but even playing the game, there's songs that, if it's a really good soundtrack, you won't even notice it, but you'll find yourself like when you play something like Shining Force, every time you're going to hear the song a million times, but you do that with all games. But for some reason, the first time I go into battle and those drums pick up and it's like like you never forget it. It stays with you. If you can't recall a single part of the music, then either you didn't play it very long or it wasn't very good.
Oh, I played it for a long time.
Yeah, I did too. And the two pieces of music I remember the most, like I said, the opening, well, logging in and the opening, along with the chocobo riding.
Yeah. Sadly. I hate, if we're pissing anybody off, we apologize. When I was playing the game, I was just playing the game, trying to get awesome armors, and fucking
Trying to get all the quests done.
get everything done, and music was really the last thing on my mind, so I apologize for that. So music is a question mark.
Man, it's not for me. I mean, I had no issue with the music. I kind of liked it, but it's not spectacular.
So now we come down to our last topic.
Story?
Story. And this one does have a story.
It kind of has a story.
Here's the problem, guys, and I won't lie to you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't fucking know what's going on. Here's why. This Final Fantasy only has certain parts of it that have voice acting. And a lot of it is text-based reading, like we used to do with our older Final Fantasies. Read them instead of listening. Yes, we've been spoiled as of late. And I don't like reading.
Yeah,
There's a lot of reading.
The actual voiceover, if you want to call it cutscene,
Yeah.
it's not really cinematic, it's more of a cutscene.
Right.
But when those come up, they come up like in between text things.
Yeah. And I have to say this. When I do quests that are story-based quests,
The main story.
I kind of just skip through all the talking and go to the objective. So, like, I know where I'm at in the game right now. I'm a high enough level to go fight Titan. I just need a party.
That's what I was having to do next, was go and find Titan and fight him.
And I was only 15 levels under the max level. I was level 35 until Heaven's Ward just released. But I don't know the story.
Every character that you create can have a different starting area.
Yep.
Which kind of ties into the same story. Kind of doesn't, but
There is. I'm sorry if I butcher these names. Lima Loenzian? So water. It's a place by the ocean. It's where pirates and bandits and all of them like to chill.
then there's a forest area, a desert area.
Undal. I'm sorry. I'm butchering these names. I apologize. That's the desert. And the forest is named, I can't even remember.
Was there only 3? Or?
3 starting zones, and depending on which class you pick,
Yeah.
you started. I like starting at the water, at the oceanside city. I love that one. That is my favorite one. But since I'm a dragoon, I started in the forest.
You're a dragoon.
I'm a dragoon.
Figure.
I'm a dragoon. So I started in the forest, and I don't know what the hell is going on. I am just doing quests, killing summons. I killed Ifrit, or helped kill Ifrit. Now I need a team to go fight Titan. Now I'm behind on the game, but it's fine because I think it's a great game, and I am meaning to get back on it here eventually and continue some questing.
I probably won't. Because the whole subscription service.
And as you heard, Scott will not be back on to help Shane, and Nick is no longer back on it. So Shane needs new friends to play this game. So, if you watch this and you play 14 and you would like to go questing with me,
You'd like to go questing with me? Would thou'st wish of a quest?
We're stealing this from the guild. We apologize. But you know how to get a hold of me. Contact information. You know.
They don't really know how to get a hold of you.
And I'm about to explain it.
But
I'll let Bill explain it.
we just started fixing the website.
And our contact information is on it under our pictures.
FandomKnight.com.
It's still a work in progress, though. So.
It is. It's constantly being updated, but it's finally being worked on.
Yep.
And if you go on there now, it has a link to almost everybody's channel, and it has a link to almost everybody's email.
Since I don't have my own YouTube channel, the only way to get a hold of me is through my emails.
Or through the Facebook page.
Or Facebook. But if you are a 14 player, and you would like to help a lonely 35 level dragoon, since his friends abandoned him.
No. I didn't abandon you. It's the subscription that forced me out.
Friends
One
abandoned
of my friends left, abandoned me. The other one is cheap.
But one friend abandoned me. The other is cheap.
It's called the economy.
It
happens.
It's called questing. But anyway. Overall, I can't explain the story because I don't know, because I skipped a lot of the dialogue.
So you really don't know the story? Neither of you guys really know?
The story is confusing.
It's a little confusing. I really can't tell you what's going on. I just wanted to go questing and kill shit.
When I get to the points where they start doing the whole text, the lettering, and then they do some voiceover, it's like, yeah, I'm hearing it, I'm reading it, and I'm not understanding it because I'm not feeling attached to the story.
There's a quest you need to do. You need to quest to the motherfucking grocery store after what I just witnessed.
Yes, I live on my own, and
but
the guy has like 3 jugs of orange juice. That's it.
I'm not finding myself attached to the story for this game, which is why I'm not really
that's exactly it right there.
focused on it.
So, with that being said, I'm going to rate this game. And I'm going to rate this game. Ready? Ready? I need a calculator. And I'm giving it a...
I can't do it. Phone is completely dead over here.
Hold on, let me grab my...
What are you giving it?
3.5. Give it 3.5 because I do think it's a good game. Regardless of my not paying attention to the story and the music not being the most memorable.
Right.
I think it's a good game. It's a good game if you have friends to play with. If you have abandoners like I do, it can be tough to play.
I think I would have to give this game a 4.
Ooh. Even though he's done playing it.
No, from my experience with it, I'd give it a 4.
Even though he abandoned me.
Okay, we are looking at a 3.75 for Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn.
So,
this almost completes our Final Fantasy. Aside from a special episode that will be coming out for the Final Fantasy, this was it. We finally did it. We skipped a couple things, but we went through the entire numbered legacy finally. And I was saying that I was going to announce something when we got here. So here it is. The show is going to continue the same way that it's been going. The same format, but we are going to start covering the video game legacy. All of it. Whatever game we happen to choose is going to go into this format for podcast review. So we're going to start going over a lot of different games from a lot of different genres, everything, fighting games, whatever, all thrown into this format to be discussed.
So we'll still be doing it
and
by
graded.
Game numbers, or just by the game.
Whatever game we want from now on. So this is going to open up our format a little bit. It's going to allow us to talk about a lot of different games. It's going to allow us to talk about whatever games. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, anything. And we don't have to go in order anymore from now on.
But if we do a lot of the same ones in a row, we can line them up with each other.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we are going to start covering the video game legacy. Whatever game we want to talk about whenever we feel like talking about it. And you know, there are a couple games as of recently that probably need some talking.
Aquaman.
Oh, shit. You know, somebody has to play it to get the video game footage.
I already did it, and I fell asleep.
While playing.
And
won.
While playing it. I wasn't like super tired, like I didn't get any sleep. I was just bored. It's like, okay, think of Superman 64 except underwater.
He's actually very accurate.
Are sure you don't mean Superman Returns?
No. Superman 64 underwater. That is what Aquaman is. So, with that being said, tune in next time for another podcast from us, Fandom Knight.